What's up, everybody? It is Go to Trades of the Straw Hat Trading Channel, and I'm back bringing y'all a little video. And listen, I know it's been a while since I've uploaded a video, right? Okay, we all know this. However, I do have a reason for this, right? If you guys remember from my first video, I told you guys that I am a master's student. I'm getting my master's in artificial intelligence, and it's almost done. I'm literally almost done. I finish in April. So I believe in April. And once I finish, I will have completely more freedom to make more videos and have more of a commitment to that. So, and I'm sorry if you hear the fire alarm in the background. Listen, I will change that. That's getting changed today. I just have to make this video, okay? Now, with all the introductions out the way, let me introduce this video. This is a very special video because this is kind of the precursor of what's to come in 2025. Now, in 2025, I kind of want to introduce more videos and more like different types of content. Now, before I was really doing weekly analysis videos, but now I'm gonna give you guys more of a journey, or journeys per se. You know, and when I say journeys with an S, you guys will kind of understand down the road. But as we get the ball rolling on 2025, I'm gonna bring you guys along the investment and the trading journeys, and you guys kind of understand what I'm saying. But this is just a precursor, okay? Now, this video is a very interesting video because it is my top 20. It's my top 10 2025 stock investment analysis and recommendations. Now, I want to say I am not a financial advisor. I am not. I am just a tinfoil hat dude on the internet who just does technical analysis, reads articles, and you know I'm a nerd at this. You know I get a little nerdy. So because of that, you know, I do think that some of the research can help you, even if you're not taking my financial advice. Maybe just for information's sake, and you know, yeah. So again, you guys can follow this if you guys want, but no pressure. This is not financial advice. Okay. Anyways, I am going to give you guys a list of my top 10 stocks. And it's going to be divided between my short-term outlook, my long-term outlook, and a speculative outlook, okay? Now, as I begin, I just want to say this short-term outlook section, this is subjected to change. These short-term 1 to 5 year investments could be even longer. It depends on how, like, the market conditions are and how like everything plays out. But for now, I'm looking at it more of a short term, which is my 1 to 5 years. Okay, so let's actually get started into the 1 to 5 years column. So the first name that we have here is UNH, United Healthcare Group. Now, UNH has been having a lot of fundamental negative news. When we look on the technical analysis side, this stock is in a 5-year upwards trend channel. And let's kind of go ahead. Let me go ahead and pull it up on a full screen so you guys can see it better. This chart is in a 5-year upwards trend channel, and the upwards trend channel is actually like expanding a little bit. It's kind of wedging out. So I do see this potential W breakout on the monthly retest, and it's holding this low. It's actually making a higher low. So I do think on a monthly, this is a pretty good investment, right? This is a pretty good investment to this potentially 2.6 extension on your standard deviation fib. So I kind of do like this a lot, and you know, potentially reaching out to like 870. I do like this a lot over time. So this can be like a 1 to 5 year play. You know, 1 to 5 year. Maybe it could probably go even longer. But obviously, we would have to see how, you know, the price action dictates that. But in terms of technical analysis, as long as this stock holds above 475, I mean, your outlook is bullish, right? 475, like right here. Yeah, as long as you hold this 475 area, even if you come down to at least like, even if you come down to at least 435, like 435 is like your stop loss, right? If you can stay above like this area here, between 475 and 435, like you look pretty good. Your outlook is extremely bullish, and you're gonna continue grinding higher. So I would suggest that, you know, if I were to invest into this name, I'd obviously I just dollar cost average. Anywhere between 500 to 470, I do believe is a pretty good buy. Even right now, I do think it's a pretty good buy, especially to hold. So this is one of my favorite names to look at the moment. And let me know what you guys think down below. Next name comes in the big tech space, and it's Google. This is actually the only big tech name that I have on my 2025 list. That doesn't mean I won't invest into other names. It's just that most of the other names are evaluating pretty high, and they're pretty expensive right now. But I do see some type of pullback happening to where we'll have an opportunity in 2025 to get into some more big names like Microsoft and maybe Meta, maybe hopefully Netflix. But obviously those names are just, they had a killer 2024, so now we're just kind of waiting to see what happens. But Google, I do think, is the lagger of all of the big tech names, and even though it is a lagger, I do think it has the most opportunity. I actually believe ever since like this whole AI revolution, I believe that Google is a pioneer within the space of AI. And I should talk about the fundamentals first, but let's hold off on that. Let's talk about the technical analysis, because the technical analysis is what even caught my eye in the first place, right? Google is in this, again, it's in like this 2-3 year range, like upwards trend ever since 2022, and you look good. You just been grinding higher on the monthly charts. Now, if you were to on the support channel of this upwards trend, if you were to buy every time it hits this green area, then you would be up heavily on Google, right? And at the moment, I've in December 2024, I've been harping within my Discord group, Google, buy Google, buy Google, buy Google. We purchased Google around December, so around like 171, 174. This is when we bought Google, and we made a killing in December. And this is on like stock options, so we made a killing. Like, I'm talking about 400, 500% in just a matter of a few weeks. It was a super easy trade, and I do think Google has even more room to run. Right now, we are getting a gift right now of a pullback, and I don't know how far this pullback is going to go, because this is still a strong monthly candle that's going to close in about 4 hours. So I don't know how deep this pullback is going to be, but if we do get another gift, right, another gift of another pullback, maybe something around like this gap fill, I'm a buyer. You look good on the monthly. You look good overall on Google. If we can get to at least 175, between 175 to 180, I do believe Google is a great buy. Even if you want to buy around 190, you can. And dollar cost average on the way down, I do think that's a pretty good strategy, because again, I do think Google has a lot of room to go. I mean, you are forming this cup. You're forming this cup here. Maybe you might get a handle on the pullback, and then another extension higher. So you do have price targets to 200 to 215, maybe 257. So I do think Google is one of those names within the shorter term that can be like a really good cash cow for you. However, why do I think Google is just a short-term play? Only because I have to see what the Department of Justice does with Google. There are some negative sentiment around the Department of Justice. I'm sorry. I haven't spoke like in front of a mic in a while, so if I'm stuttering and messing up, I'm sorry. Anyways, because of the Department of Justice, the DOJ, they're trying to basically take Chrome away from Google. And I'm not gonna go too deep why. You guys can research it. I don't think this is gonna work. I don't think it's gonna happen. But obviously, there's some speculative information about it, and it's been kind of lagging Google a little bit. But I don't think that's gonna work. So obviously we don't know yet until it happens. So we would have to see how Google plays out, over time, right? So another reason to why I like Google a lot, and this is more of a fundamental reason, right? When I was in my undergrad, I used to do a lot of like funded research, right? And companies used to pay our university to do these research projects, and they used to pay big money. Like as a college student, I like, just from me, right? I'd get like between $3,000 to $5,000 just to do research, right? And this is just an individual student. We're not talking about the other students that's getting money too. We're not talking about the universities getting money too. We're not talking about that. So I used to think like, wow, if these companies are really giving money for us to do to do research of like these topics, they must be a lucrative thing in the future. And I remember in 2021, 2022, it was chips. It was people they were talking about chips. They were talking about microchips. They were talking about AI and stuff like that. And I remember when all the sentiment of Meta was so bad, I'm like, look, guys, like I think this is like the investment opportunity. Obviously, I was a broke college student, so I couldn't do it. But looking back at it, man, I wish I had like the funds that I have now for it. So like every single time, it's always been something within the market that tech kind of precedes. And I think the next, where I'm getting to is I do think the next opportunity that everyone is kind of missing is autonomous vehicles. Now we kind of seen the hype over robo taxis with Tesla, right? And with Waymo, which is one of Google's sub companies, Waymo's been testing robo taxis in Japan. They've been testing it in Australia, in Atlanta, and we're talking about a potential, shift, right, in how we actually do business, right? This is a whole market share of transportation that's untapped, right? And this is just having people on the road without paying people. These are just robots, machines, right, on the road. And I do think that this is going to be the space where a lot of companies will, like, Uber, like Google, that's going to shine, within this whole AI space. So I do think that this is this is where Google can get another share of revenue, like another piece of revenue. And mind you, they have so much different types of revenue streams, right? So I like that a lot. And with the advancement of quantum computing, I'm not going to get too much into quantum computing, but that's a very powerful tool. A lot of people have their doubts about it, but I'm not going to get into it. Maybe I'll have a whole video of quantum computing and how and what is quantum computing, what and why it's so powerful, why is it like a big deal. But right now, no. And right now, just the perception of Google is changing, and this could be because Google is, maybe it's turning into a leader, an AI leader, an AI powerhouse. So I'm liking Google a lot. So I want to see how it kind of progresses throughout 2025. Let's look at Coinbase. Now, Coinbase is a pretty interesting name, and let me go ahead and pull up the chart. All right, yeah, Coinbase is a pretty interesting name because it kind of got listed publicly to trade in 2021? Yeah, in 2021. So it's a pretty interesting name, right? But it's had this major run since 2024 and it hasn't stopped. Yeah, you had like a few monthly pitfalls like between May and November, but once like November hit and the Trump election, Trump victory happened, it just been a rocket, right? Now you're coming off of like this downwards trend. You broke out and now you're pulling back into the retest. You look good. Like you look really, really good. You're creating like this sort of monthly inverse head and shoulders. A monthly inverse head and shoulders. When I see something like this on a monthly, all I can do is just lick my lips, right? So anytime we get into this upwards trending support area, I'm a buyer here, right? I'm just a buyer for sure. I am a buyer every single time. So I do think that we are kind of coming into some type of support. So if we can get like somewhere around between 230 to 210, I am a buyer. Anywhere between 230 and 210, I'm a buyer. I will dollar cost average that and I'll play the longs. I do think that we can extend all the way to 425 easily. That's the all-time highs on Coinbase. I do think that that's where we are targeting. And if we can actually break above 425 here, I do think that 528 is easy. This is a short-term investment. I do think that this is a 1 to 5 year. I do think that it does have potential for the long term to 5 to 10 years. A potential, keyword potential. but we would have to see. This is just a short term play, and I like it a lot. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. So speaking of crypto, the next name that we have is actually a crypto name. I think that this is a nice 1 to 5 year investment as well, and it is Ethereum. Ethereum is my favorite crypto name, and I'm gonna explain it in another video. But just long story short, I've done research on Ethereum, and I've created apps, decentralized applications, DApps, in which I had to use Ether to make transactional posts, like social media posts. So I kind of like that, and there's a lot of different use cases that you can use, like smart contracts and everything for Ethereum. So I do think in terms of Ethereum being a more use case coin or platform in which you can use, or corporations can use it, I like it. I like it a lot. And that's just fundamental. But that's not even like the real reason why I think this is an investment. It's really the technical analysis reason, right? And let me go ahead and switch over to the main view chart. So let me clear all of that. Okay, so I like Ethereum because you've been coming into this long-term bull flag here, and you broke out, right? Now, it's all on if we could hold this area. If we can hold this previous resistance, which is now support, if we can hold this and then grind higher, I do think you have an easy road to 5,000. Easy road to 5,000, right? So I do like Ethereum a lot. I do have a better chart. Let me go ahead and pull that one up. So yeah, I do think you have just a road to 5,000 easily, maybe even 6,000. So if we can at least hold above this area of what 2,800, yeah, if we can hold above 2,800, 2,900, I do think you're shaping to look good. Like I would be a buyer between here, like around this area, like 3,300 and 2,900. I'd be a buyer. You know, like every like 15% down, I'd probably buy until we break down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Only because if you can hold 2,900, again, you have a clear road to at least 5,000. So maybe this 4,800, which is like, I believe it's your all-time high. So you have this like 4,800, a clear shot to 5,000, and even your fib extension is even hinting towards 6,000, maybe even 7,000. So I like that a lot. I like those odds, like risk reward. Your risk to reward is insane on this name, right? So this is like a short term 1 to 5 year name, and I do think that this 2025 we're gonna see Ethereum break out even more than Bitcoin. So that's what I believe. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments as well on this name, and we're gonna keep going. If you guys are enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like, a comment, and let me know what you guys like or dislike. I know, if I'm stuttering, messing up, I'm sorry, bro. It's been a while. I'm sorry. I'm a little nervous. You guys make me nervous, man. You guys make me nervous. But look, I'm gonna get better at this. Okay. Next, we have our 5 to 10 year plan. Our 5 to 10 year, this is like kind of like the mid to long term, right? So my 5 to 10 year plan, my favorite stocks that I like, we're gonna start off with Micron. Now, what is a stock investment list without a semiconductor name? Like you cannot have a whole list without a semiconductor name. Now, I know Nvidia's been taking the world by storm, and it's cool. I think that's a very good company. But I do think that there's even more opportunity in Micron, and it's not mainly because of like the semiconductor space itself that they provide, but it's the memory. You need short-term memory and you need long-term storage, right? So your short-term memory, that's like coming from like your DRAM. They have like their own space of DRAM. We can expect them to actually sell to other consumers and other companies and, increase their market share. So DRAM, again, super important. When we look at different AI agents and different AI applications, we have to consider like AI memory to, increase speed. So with AI enabled smartphones becoming a thing and AI enabled agents for almost every little thing that we are going to see in the future, memory is going to be the thing to sell. It's kind of like the gold rush, right? Everyone was thinking that the gold rush itself was something to marvel at, right? That's where the cash cow was. No, it was the people who were selling the pickaxe, people who were selling the materials to obtain the gold, right? And I do believe that this is one of those things. We can make a lot of money off of just even thinking about the memory access in which these companies are going to be utilizing for AI. So that's what I think. Micron, a very good watch fundamentally. The only reason why Micron is looking weak at the moment is because the memory market is currently weak. And it's actually expected, they said it, it's actually expected to rebound in the second half of the year. Coinky dink, right? So I do think that in the first half of the year, we're going to see some type of turbulence in the market. We're going to see like a pullback, which is great. That means we're going to get it at a discount. And the second half of the year, we're going to see a ramp up. And, you know, throughout the whole 2026, I think it's going to be our year for Micron. I've been telling people about Micron since it was at $40. I promise you. I've been telling people since it was at $40 and it rose up all the way to $150. Okay? So I do think Micron is one of the best opportunities in the semiconductor market. And let me go ahead and pull it up so you guys can see it. So Micron, I love this, right? So right now you're creating some type of the descending triangle here on the monthly. So usually descending triangles work like this. Boom, boom, and then boom, right? So hopefully that happens, right? Because if that happens, we get an easy buy. Like, this is free. If we get an easy buy at $70, $70 between 70 to 63, $64, that is free. That is super duper free. I do think that that's a super great buy zone. I am an aggressive buyer here because you're in this, look, you're in this almost 10-year range, this accordion pattern. Like, you're in this whole 10-year range and it's only expanding like between 10 years. Like, you can't go against this trend. Like, this is a monster trend and I'm loving it right now. Like, but I'd send an alert. I'd easily send an alert here. So around $70 is where I'd become a buyer. Next name I'm liking a lot is Lockheed Martin, LMT. I do think that technical analysis, it's amazing, right? This is one of those names where, you know, we don't know what's going on in the world. We don't know what's about to happen. But this is one of those names that's always going to have your back. This is like a safety net. It's always going to be your safety net. And I like it. I like the channel. And let me go ahead and actually show you. I love the upwards channel. It looks really good. Look at the name. Again, you're coming into a, what is this? This is another damn near 10-year channel. This is like another 10-year channel that you're just basing in. So obviously you're coming into support. It's been getting beat up since October, which is pretty fine. You're coming into support. That's at like 455. So between like 460 to 425, you look good. You look really good. This is like a really good buy zone in this area. So this is where I dollar cost average. So I just put an alert between 455 to 425, something like that, 470. I just put an alert and I just watch it and see how it goes. But this is one of my favorite names to watch of 2025. I like it a lot. And I do think this is just a long-term play that everyone should have in their portfolio. But again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just saying. All right, so IonQ. I'm liking this name a lot. And it's unfortunate because I think I can like timestamp this. Hold up. I've been saying, I think someone in my Discord group asked me. I would have to look. Let me go ahead and look. So all the way in March, I remember talking to my group and we're, just talking to them about like the tech space, right? And I remember telling them about quantum computing and why I think it's like the next big thing. And I talked about some names that I think like can like amass like huge like revenue growth just because of quantum computing. And I remember like making this article and I'm like, I should probably keep looking for names that that can actually be as lucrative as I think it could be. And I remember coming across IonQ, and this wasn't like too long ago. I think this was like maybe in September. I don't know, when I was just making my 2025 list, because I've been making my list for a while now. And I remember like, okay, I need to put some quantum names, and I was doing some research, and I found out about this in like September. Ion Q, and I think what gave me this idea was like the Air Force. The Air Force had like this whole 54, oh, it's right here, $55 million contract for them to like put in some research on it. And that's like one of the that was the largest quantum contract in for any company that year. So I was like, okay, this might be a company to be investing in. And obviously, obviously I didn't do it yet because I was making the list. So I didn't start investing yet. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start like when the year starts. And long behold, like this thing starts taking off. Like, what the heck? Now let me go ahead and pull it in a large view so you guys can see it. So boom, right? This was in September. September, we were like right here, right? We was all the way at $7. It's at 42 now. Like, that is insane. And this is like, again, September is when I even found out about it. So I'm liking this name a lot. I'm not gonna lie. This is one of these are one of the speculative names that I'm liking a lot. But I'm not even gonna put to a speculative name. I'm gonna put it into my long term. I do think that this is gonna be one of those names that I can look back in like 10 years and be like, wow, I snapped. So I'm gonna start investing into this name, starting now, and I do think we can get another pullback. I want another pullback. If we can get a pullback around $21, I think that's free. I would buy it at $21. That's fine. I'll buy it. And I do think we're gonna see it there. If we don't see it there, then that's fine. Do I think right now is a good buy? I do think it's a little bit expensive, but if this is a long-term buy, then I wouldn't mind buying light positions now. Very light positions, okay? But I like this name a lot in a very long term, okay? So I would sit on this for a very long time. This section is my speculative buys for 2025. Now my speculative buys aren't like, okay, I know they're speculations, but they're not like hard speculations. Like, these aren't like buys where I think I would just like not put in any money or put in a little bit of money. No, I think like these speculative buys for the year are gonna be like my aggressive buys. Okay. Now the reason why I didn't put it in the section of long or short term, because I don't know. I honestly don't know, but something is telling me that this is where I need to be like positioning my money, right? And however I would want to allocate my portfolio after I feel as if it's a I'm weighted pretty nicely into the space, that's when I'll stop and I'll start thinking about long term and how I would want to position myself long term. But I do think that as of right now, these are my aggressive buys. Like, these are the ones that I kind of want to buy heavily. Okay. Now, Serve Robotics. Again, I do think autonomous vehicles, I think that sector is gaining a lot of momentum, and I do think that that's going to be the most lucrative sector of 2025. And I know that's a strong analysis, but again, I think the idea of people not being like bounded to a person driving is amazing, right? Even though it's a scary idea, I feel like everything was scary at first. Even going to an airplane, that was scary at first. Even going across the seas, when no one have gone across the seas, going to other new lands, I think that was scary at first. Everything is gonna be scary at first. There's gonna be some pitfalls. But you're gonna have to look on the far side of everything, right? And I do think that a lot of like major issues that I have, especially waiting for rides, are availability. Whenever it's a hot area, like let's say it's a concert and there's a whole bunch of rides and people going different places, it's hard to find a ride. And I do think autonomous vehicles, that's gonna be, I do think that's gonna be where it's gonna be soon. So it's gaining momentum and I like it. And with uh Uber and Waymo having that that conversation, which I'm gonna kind of talk about later. Serve is one of these companies that I do think can capitalize on it. Now I've seen a Serve robotic actually deliver food before when I was in California, and I thought it was amazing. And it's basically they have like these self walking car vehicles, like little wagons, and they like bring people food, you know, and it does the same thing that people can do, but it reduces costs a lot. And they're planning to keep on deploying more units throughout 2025, and it's going to be throughout Uber Eats and other U.S. markets. Now, the reason why I keep on saying Uber, 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 you're gonna see it. You're gonna see why I'm talking about Waymo and Uber, but this market is I like it a lot. Okay. So right now, again, I'm not gonna go full detail on the technical because there's not that much to go over. This actually just been listed in a public market like in May, so it's not too much data on the stock yet. So this is a very early investment. So maybe we might be too early. I don't know, but I like it a lot, and I'm gonna be investing into it over time this year. It's only $15 a share. If it continues going higher, I'll keep buying it. If it continues going lower, I'll keep buying it. I just want to see where it ends up. Next is Uber. Uber is my favorite stock of 2025, hands down. I think that Uber. Let's just go over the technical analysis of Uber. Uber is again my favorite name, and it's in this space that I'm talking about, this whole autonomous vehicle space that I like a lot. Uber, right? Uber. Uber's business model is literally having people go get food for you, go get groceries for you, or pick you up, right? If they can scratch people out the equation and make it robots, they're going to be saving so much money. The revenue that they can be making would be insane, right? And Uber they know this, and they're already taking steps towards making this possible, right? So that's just the fundamental part. But look at this chart, right? You are grinding in this multi-year channel. You're grinding in this multi-year channel, and right now you're sitting on resistances. As long as you don't break down here, you're perfectly fine. So if you find buyers at this stage at $60, if you find buyers and you start propelling higher, I do think you're going to easily break out to above $90 easily. And I think you're going to be targeting this 128 area. And I think it's going to be like one of those things where everyone's like, damn, man, whoa, Uber just took off. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, how did it just go like that? Nah, I think this is like setting up, and it's been setting up to actually explode for a while. So I like Uber a lot. You guys let me know what you guys think in the comments, but that's only the technicals. When we look at the fundamentals, look at it. It's expanding partnerships with Waymo, which I kind of already talked about it. This is Google's side company, and this is why I like Google too. This is why Google is like, I think that's like my second favorite out of this name. So for me, it's like Uber then Google. But Waymo, they've been ride hauling in Austin and Atlanta, and they've been extending their partnership through Uber. Now, you can only use Waymo through Uber, like within these two areas, And I've heard that they're expanding it to Miami, which is a great place. I live there; it's amazing. They're expanding it to Miami. They're expanding it across the seas to Japan. So over time, I think the deployment of Waymo and autonomous vehicles like this robo taxi era, I do think that Uber can capitalize on it. Even if Tesla wants to do the robo taxi stuff, cool. But you have to think about it. Tesla has to manufacture these vehicles. It's a lot more servicing, a lot more things that have to go into them deploying this robo taxi. So because of that, it's going to take them longer to actually implement it. Uber, Waymo, they're already implementing it. And I do believe that it's a strong buy here. Like this is a very strong company in terms of potential. I like Uber a lot. Lastly, I think this is the last one. Yeah. Lastly is Nike. Overall, Nike doesn't look like a pretty good company on the macro side, but I do think it's just a sluggish market right now. I do think that there are a lot of pressures in the economy, and it's only going to get worse before it gets better. But when it does get better, I do think that Nike is going to be the one to look at. Now, the reason why I say Nike is the one to look at is because you're operating like how you're operating technically. So Nike is operating in this falling wedge pattern, and a falling wedge is when like basically when a price action is sliding, buyers are actually stepping into the market as the price slides, right? And this kind of shows throughout the volume, and you kind of get like this like bullish divergence, right? So listen, as you get this large aggressive move to the downside, you can see like volume is light, right? It's like light volume to the downside. You come up, you hit resistance, you slide again, but it's light. This like light sliding. Like your volume isn't really doing anything. It's increasing, but it's not really spiking. But as you slide again, you can notice that volume is getting more and more spiked, but the actual move of the action is not, it's not really doing anything. It's not sliding anymore. So because of that, you're getting like this divergence. You're getting a large move down, right, into a small volume, and as like as the price is going lower but less aggressive, you're getting more volume, more aggressive volume. So your volume here is actually coiling, right? I mean, your price action here is actually coiling with high volume. So this shows that this is a point of interest and you are potentially about to break out. So this is why I like falling wedge patterns so much, right? Boom, 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 coil, and then breakout. So if I were to put a fib extension here, so let's go ahead and put a fibby. You look like you could be targeting 200 potentially, right? On a multi-month pattern, you look like you could be targeting 200. So I like it a lot. Nike is one of my names that I think I'm going to be investing in the next 6 to 12 months, because this is going to be a long-term trend. This is going to be a long term. So maybe in like 3 years you might actually see it, but for now I don't think 2025 is going to be like a crazy year for Nike, but I think it's going to be the start. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And just for a conclusion, this is a diversified portfolio. It blends technical and fundamental analysis to target short-term, mid-term, and long-term opportunities and growth. With speculative investments and emerging technologies like quantum computing, autonomous delivery, I think prioritizing dollar cost averaging and key support, blah, 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 to maximize all that, okay? Now, again, I am not a financial advisor, but I do think that this is a lot of opportunity and a lot of free game that I'm giving you guys. So again, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. And hey, if you guys want to join our Discord, it's down below in the description. Join, it's completely free. Anyways, we look forward to having you. And this been your boy Go to Trades, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.